Metal carbonyls and metal nitrosyls are the two different aspects of the organometallics that we are going to see today. These assume very importance in the context that there is something to be studied about the bondings, back bonding, pi bonding, or and synergism. This is the factors that we have seen, and I'm going to explain to you about this in the coming sessions. Okay, so let us first see what the metal carbonyls mean. They are the metal and carbonyl bonds. So how do you define the carbonyl bonds then? The carbonyl bonds now are the ligands and an organic ligand that you just put it like this, C triple bond O. So this is a carbonyl ligand, okay, and here you will have some metal and there will be d orbitals within the metal and donation of this to that, okay. So similar to carbonyl ligands, you can have nitrile, that is cyanide ligand also. So both of them play an important role with the presence of these two pi bonds, 1 and 2 pi bond here and 1 and 2 pi bonds here. So a special topic is devoted to the uh, metal carbonyls. Okay, how do you synthesize that? There are two methods, and is the direct reaction of the metal with CO. The only metal that can directly react with CO carbon monoxide is under mild conditions are iron and nickel. So you have iron here, 5 carbon ligands and FeCO5. This is, I think you know, this is the most famous compound, the ferrocene there. And then nickel tetracarbonyl is another. This can be a single ferrocene, single trigonal bipyridine molecule as well as di-organic ring known as ferrocene. But here you have only a monomer. And here you can have this nickel tetracarbonyl square planar complex. Okay, so this is the direct reaction with this carbonyl ligand. And then the next reaction, very important reaction, is reductive carbonylation. This method involves reduction of the salt of a salt and the metal using an active metal or hydrogen in the presence of carbon monoxide. VCl3 is a salt there and is a vanadium trichloride. It is a vanadium trichloride. It reacts with the sodium salt with the 6 ligands at very high atmospheric pressure in the presence of diclame at 160 degrees C. So you get sodium diclame twice and vanadium hexacarbonyl plus 3 NaCl, and you can see that this is further reacted with the presence of HCl and lithium to give vanadium hexacarbonyl. Okay, vanadium hexacarbonyl ligand. It's a very important reaction. So you must remember that it's a sodium diclame salt that we have mentioned there. It's a salt. So this is, you cannot ask why this salt is there, but it is a characteristic property of the molecules. Then you have, this is different. Okay, this is cobalt. You must always be very careful in using CO because one CO stands for the cobalt, the other CO stands for carbon monoxide. This one is another C triple bond O, and this one is CO. So here you have cobalt aqua complex with the two acetate ligands. It's an octahedral complex which reacts with the 8 molecules of acetic anhydride and 8 molecules of carbon monoxide at 160 atmospheric pressure and 40 atmospheric for the reduction of hydrogen gases. This you can create by metals such as palladium and platinum, and then you get CO2, CO8 plus 20 acetic acid. So this is a very good reaction. CO2, CO is a binuclear complex. It's called as a binuclear complex because you've got two cobalt atoms there. And these two cobalt atoms are symmetrically connected with 8 carbon monoxide ligands. That is what is being given there. Okay. So preparation of polynickel carbon depends on the particular metal. For example, photolysis of FeCO5 iron pentacarbonyl in glacial acetic acid gives an excellent yield of FeCO9. Well, this is what now I just wrote about the ferrocene molecule. That is, if you have some more acetic acid, in the presence of acid, this penta carbon monoxide ferrate is converted into the NaNO, that is the ferrocene molecule, and Fe3CO2 12 is another complex, that you obtain when a solution of anion of HFeCO4 is oxidized. So this is an anion there, and it is prepared from the pentacarbonyl. Is given as follows: iron pentacarbonyl in presence of a base, it gives HFeCO4 minus. So this is an anion there. You must be very careful in writing the anion. Okay. And then you get HCO3. This is acidic in nature. So later you have to use this and react it with the oxidizing agents such as manganese dioxide to produce Fe3CO2, CO12 and 3 hydroxyl and 3 MnO. This may be further reactive and the reaction may proceed and you have to stop the reaction. That are all reaction etiquettes. But this is a very important reaction. It is very often asked. Okay, so you have to write pentacarbon monoxide ferrate or ferric carbonyl in the presence of two molecules of a strong base, that is sodium hydroxide. It gives an anion of HFeCO4 tetracarbonyl compound and some acetic salt. The tetracarbonyl salt is reacting in the presence of the MnO2 to give Fe3CO12, 3 hydroxyl and 3 MnO. Okay, whatever be the product, you can write the main product there, major product there. So here is something that we need to discuss about the bonding in metal carbonyls. So I'll just highlight what is important there, and we'll discuss this here to find out what uh, the type of reactivity means to us. Okay, carbon monoxide is well known poor sigma donor, so it doesn't give means exactly. You can just judge it may be a good pi donor. It's quite opposite, but it is not established. You can just understand by that it's a poor sigma donor. That means it doesn't form a sigma bond. Despite it, it will react with transition metal in low oxidation states. The highlighted points, highlighted lines and words are very important to you for the examination point of view. To form complexes that are quite stable with respect to oxidation, dissociation and substitution. The feature of metal CO, this is the feature. Feature means it's not future, it's a property. Feature of metal CO bonding which is responsible for the stability is the interaction of the filled metal d orbitals of pi symmetry, that is T2G in octahedral complex. This is very important point, you have to remember this. Okay, with the empty pi star or antibonding molecular orbital of the carbonate. So as a consequence of such interaction, delocalization of electron density occurs from the metal into the ligand pi star orbital. So the result is an increase in the effective nuclear charge of the metal, which in turn limits the extent of metal T2G to pi electron flow. So note this point, and this is what we call it as the pi electron flow is there. Okay. However, the increase in the effective nuclear charge exerts attraction towards the sigma electrons of the carbonyl, leading to the formation of a ligand metal pi sigma bond. As the amount of electron density delocalized from the carbon monoxide sigma orbital into the metal increases, the effective nuclear charge of the metal diminishes. So we have seen how this EAN is calculated in our previous examples, so this becomes very essential for you. And further, metal T2G to pi electron flow is possible. Okay, the result of this two-way electron flow two-way electron flow is that the metal ligand bond is stronger than the sum of the isolated ligand to metal sigma bonding and ligand to metal sigma bonding and metal to ligand pi bonding effects. This mutual strengthening of these two effects to produce a result is greater than the sum of these two acting individually is called as the synergism. So this is very important for you. What is meant by synergism? Okay. Now let me explain this in terms of the orbital diagrams there that is already given there. So I'll even write them. So let me again uh, look into the aspect here. So what is being discussed here is that there is this metal. Okay, metal. Let us, for example, take the metal D5 ion is the case. Okay, ion. It has got a D6 case, so you have got 6 electrons there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let me just take this the D5 case with Fe3 plus. If you have Fe3 plus, it becomes a D5 case. Okay. Now the carbon monoxide, now which we draw like this carbon monoxide ligand, CO. This is a sigma bond there. Okay. Then you have pi bonds there. One pi bond will be just like this. Okay. Another pi bond will be just like this. Let's see in another. Right. So this and this will form one pi bond, and this will form another pi bond. So you have pi bond pi 1 here and you have pi 2 here. So there are two pi bonds there. Now what are these pi bonds? The pi bonds is this is a kind of a delocalization over the over ligand. Okay. Some of the condition that is important is that the electron is donated from the metal into the ligand orbital, and another electron is donated, the electron pi orbital is delocalized into the metal to the ligand orbital. So this is what is banked. So here actually what happens is metal mutually metal and ligand should give one electron each. One electron each. But what is happening? Metal gives one bond, one electron, ligand gives another electron. They make a bond. But because of the nature of the ligand, that is the pi orbital, there is the shifting of the electron cloud. Shifting of electron cloud. What is electron cloud? This is electron cloud there. Okay. So it may slightly tilt towards the metal. Right? The neutral thing is metal should give one electron and ligand should give one electron. You get a sigma bond there. But afterwards, what happens is due to the property of the ligand that we mentioned here, right? It's right here. It is orbitals of pi symmetry T2G in octahedral molecule. The empty pi star orbital. There are orbitals which are pi. So here, if you take up the molecular orbitals of the C and O, you build up the orbitals. Okay. Suppose if this is pi, these are all the pi star orbitals. So these are all the empty orbitals. All the electrons you require will be filled here itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 all electrons. So this will be empty. Note that bonding order we calculate is number of electrons in the bonding orbital divided minus number of electrons in the anti-bonding orbital divided by 2. So if an electron goes here, the value is increasing in the numerator and you get a different bond order. Okay. However, what happens is because of the large size, empty d orbitals, there is a symmetrization of this d and pi, d pi. We call this as the d pi interaction. D pi interaction. Okay, this is what is being mentioned here. Interaction of the filled metal d orbitals of pi symmetry. Remember, this is some kind of misnomer. D orbital in சொல்றாங்க, but it is having something like pi symmetry. Okay, so already I have told you that we are not going to consider the pi bonds as only those belonging to the organic molecules. இது மட்டும் pi bonds கிடையாது. This is not the only thing the pi bonds are. There are pi bonds in the inorganic molecules. We call them as the electrons with pi symmetry. So here is the overall molecule. It arises only when there is a molecule formation. It doesn't there is a complex formation. It doesn't form when you have a separate metal or a separate ligand. Separately, if you see C triple bond bow, this property may not be there. But if you bring metal there, what happens is this metal carbonyl will be the octahedral molecule with empty pi star. More and more empty pi star will be there, or antibonding molecular orbitals. This is an antibonding orbital. There you don't have any space here. Okay, for the all the occupied will be there itself. So empty will be here only. Okay, so these empty orbitals are occupied by some of the metals. You have seen in the below that now metal atoms are there. These metal atoms are already there. They are not. They are already there. Okay, you may even have 4s2 there. You may even have 3p orbitals there. So these are all some of the valence orbitals that, but d orbitals in, from ligand to metal is taking place. Okay, the result is an increase in the effective nuclear charge of the metal. So as a result, the effective nuclear charge of the metal increases. Whether you give electron from the ligand or from outside, the effective nuclear charge increases, atomic number, nuclear charge increases, which in turn limits the extent of metal T2G to pi electron. So in the metal, you have this T2G orbital and EG orbital, and the donation of T2G to pi is considered here as the electron flow. However, the increase in the effective nuclear charge exerts attraction towards the sigma electrons. Why does this nuclear charge increases? Because of the delocalization. Why it delocalizes? It delocalizes because of the same symmetry. Which is having same symmetry? D orbital and pi orbital are getting almost similar symmetry. So as a result of that, there is delocalization. As a result of delocalization, effective nuclear charge increases. As a result of effective nuclear charge increases, it exerts attraction towards the sigma electrons of the carbonyl, leading to the formation of the ligand to metal sigma. So what is happening is extra ligands from ligand to the metal are added as amount of electron decreases from CO. This is CO. This is CO. Sigma orbital into the metal increases. So already pi and d orbitals are there, but some sigma electrons, this is the sigma orbital. This is the only sigma orbital there. Some electron delocalization from sigma to the metal is also taking place. Is being mentioned there. Into the metal is effective nuclear charge of the nuclear metal diminishes and further metal T2G to pi electron flow is possible. Because of this happening, further metal T2G to pi electron flow is possible. You can see this M pi to L pi star there. So this is the metal d orbitals. These are all the d orbitals there. This is pi orbital. So the interaction is possible. Interaction is possible because same symmetry. Same symmetry means in quantum chemistry you can explain it using the eigenvalues. Otherwise it is very difficult to explain. Okay, so M pi to M metal pi symmetry to ligand pi star symmetry and then metal to ligand is possible. So as a result of that metal to electron pi is possible. The result of this 2 electron flow is that the metal ligand bond is stronger than some of the isolated ligand to metal sigma bonding and metal to sigma bonding. This mutual strengthening is actually called as synergism. In fact, I think this is also known as the back bonding. Okay, so to sum up, it's not much difficult for you to remember. I'll just give the sum up. Metal is there, ligand is there. Okay, mutual electron donating from this to this is possible, right? This is the second thing. The third thing is this has got d orbitals. Lot of space is there. Lot of space for delocalization. In ligand, you have electrons in pi symmetry because it is a carbon monoxide. Pi star orbitals are there. Same lot of space are also there. Same delocalization is also there. So here to here and here to here, electron donation is taking place. is taking place. So this is the back bonding, which occurs from the ligand to metal is called as the back bonding. எது வரைக்கும் நடத்துமோ அது வரைக்கும் நிறுத்தலாது, அதுக்கு மேலே போச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு பேர் தான் பேக் பாண்டிங். அதுக்கு அடுத்த நேம் வந்து சினர்ஜிசம் சொல்லுவோம். Okay, so that is the beauty with this metal ligand. So how you can remember is there is simple d orbital to pi orbital delocalization is possible in the case of the metal organic metal carbonyls. Okay, so these are all the some aspects of the metal. Same thing, similar thing is almost there for the metal nitrosyls also. So you can see the metal nitrosyls, the compound with the incorporation of nitric oxide is given below, where nickel C5H5 2 plus reacts with NO ligand to give the NO complex. Similarly, you have C5H5 molybdenum complex which reacts with another nitrosyl complex to give a complex. So you can see that this is important. Metal nitrosyls mixed with carbonyls are readily formed by replacement of carbon monoxide with nitric oxide. Here you see FeCO5 is there. FeCO5 in the place of 2CO2 NO place is being substitution. So it's a kind of substitution reaction. So you have got all that you studied in the substitution reaction complexes. Again, cobalt complex or carbon monoxide reacts with two nitrosyl molecules forming cobalt carbonyls and nitrosyl as a result. So these two are very important reactions there. Since the nitrosyl cation is isoelectronic with carbonyl group, isoelectronic means the electronic arrangement around C triple bond O and N triple bond O is similar. Okay, electronic arrangement. Okay, that is why they are called as the uh, isoelectronic. Because it will have great similarity with it will have great similarity with the carbonyls, and although almost nitrosyl groups appear to be linear, the few cases of species are known where they cannot be so. In that case, metal nitrogen oxygen bond will be 124 degrees in angle. How much you require for a straight line? 180 degree is the straight line. So here it is slightly bent, that is 124. It's because of the oxygen lone pair present in the nitrogen nitrosyl complex. But if you have a cation like NO nitrosyl ion NO plus, consider it. It's isoelectronic with carbon monoxide and molecular nitrogen, and it has three bonding pairs and a lone pair on both the nitrogen and oxygen atoms. Bonding pairs and lone pairs. Note this: bonding pairs and lone pair. Lone pair is not at all. Lone pair is not reactive. Bonding pair is involved in bonding. Both nitrogen and oxygen atoms, both the atoms are hybridized sp. So this is a different aspect of explanation using the sp. Both atoms are potential donors. Which both atoms? This the carbon monoxide as well as the nitric oxide, the nitrosyl, avoiding large formal positive charge and the more elective negative oxygen atom. Hence, the nitrosyl ion can be characterized as a sigma donor donating sp-based lone pair on the nitrogen. The resulting ON metal system will be linear. See, what is happening here is the nitrosyl actually nitrosyl is slightly bent because of the presence of the lone pair there. There is a bonding pair there. Okay. Now what happens is one of the electron from nitrosyl is going into the bonding orbital, is going to the ligand. Okay, one of the electron that is here is going into the ligand. When the electron is lost, the geometry is lost. So it becomes this one is slightly bent, but it is becomes linear when it is lost. It is like, you can see the case of the water molecule there. In the water you have got actually you should have HOH like this, mounting to 180 degree. But what is happening is because of the presence of some lone pairs here, okay, lone pairs are there which is not bonding. This lone pair repels this, therefore you get a HOH bent like this. Okay, and if you take away this lone pair of electrons, it may become linear. Because of this, in the lone pair இருக்கிறதுனால தான் இது ஸ்ட்ரைட்டா இது பெண்ட் ஆகுது. இந்த லோன் பேர் அப்படியே எடுத்துட்டோம்னா இந்த இந்த ரிப்பல்ஷன் இங்கே இருக்கும் இல்லையா, அது போயிடும். அது ரிப்பல்ஷன் போயிடுச்சுன்னா இந்த ஹைட்ரஜன் அப்படியே லீனர் ஆகிடும். ஸோ அதுதான் சொல்ல வராங்க. ஸோ இட் இஸ் ஆல்ரெடி பெண்ட், but one of the electrons in the lone pair, it is not at all involved in bonding. It goes into the metal atom. When it goes, its repulsion with this bond is reduced. Therefore, it comes up. So it becomes straight. அதுதான் இங்கே சொல்ல வேணும். Okay. The resulting atoms will be linear. Okay. Remember, when it is linear, the lone pair has gone into some other and lone pair has been delocalized. Okay. So I'll just again put it like this. NO is bent because you have lone pair here. Okay. But when you bring metal here like this, one of these two lone pair is going into the metal. When this goes, the repulsion due to this disappears. So it becomes M-N triple bond bow. This will be 124 and this will be 180 degree. Okay. So the concept that you have to understand is the removal of the electrons from the orbitals, is making them shifts. So nitrosyl ion is, again, this is a very important aspect that I am going to read. Nitrosyl ion is well known poor sigma donor. Same thing like you saw in the carbon. So it will react with transition metal in low oxygen state, usually 1 or 2, to form compounds that are quite stable with respect to oxidation. The feature of metal nitro bonding, which is responsible for the stability of the interaction of the filled metal atoms of the pi symmetry. Remember again, he is equating it with the metal d orbitals as equal to pi symmetry. D and pi are having same symmetry. With the empty pi star orbital or anti-bonding orbital. So there is interaction of the orbital. So whenever you have this pi orbital, pi star is possible and anti-bonding is also possible. Pi star is anti-bonding actually. Sigma anti-bonding, sigma pi anti-bonding. As a consequence, such interaction delegation of electrons occurs from the metal into the ligand pi orbitals. So metal and the ligand pi orbitals both. This result is increasing the effective nuclear charge of the metal with internal limits the extents of the T2G pi star electron flow. T2G is in the d orbital. T2G is in the d orbital. Pi is in the ligand orbital. This is metal and this is ligand. So metal to ligand electron flow limit ஆயிருது அப்படின்னு சொல்லலாம். However, the increase in the effective nuclear charge exerts attraction towards the sigma electron of the nitrosyl, leading to the formation of the ligand metal sigma bond. As the amount of electron density delocalized from NO sigma orbital into the metal increases, important point here, NO ல sigma இருக்கு, அதுல இருந்து மெட்டலுக்கு போகுது. But the effective nuclear charge of the metal diminishes and further metal T2G to pi electron flow is possible. The result of this two electron flow is that the metal ligand bond is stronger than the sum of the isolated. Same thing like you studied, same thing as in the case of CO. Stronger than the sum of the isolated ligand to metal sigma bonding and metal to ligand pi bonding. Ligand to metal sigma bond, metal to ligand pi bond. இது ரெண்டு சொல்லலாம். Okay, இந்த ரெண்டு எஃபெக்ட் ஓட பேக் பாண்டிங் ஆர் சினர்ஜிசம் ஸ்ட்ராங் இருக்குது அப்படின்னு சொல்லலாம். The mutual strengthening of these two effects produce a result of the greater sum of these two individuals. It's called as synergism. சிம்பிளா ரிமெம்பர் பண்ணோம்னா சினர்ஜிசம் தான் பேக் பாண்டிங். பேக் பாண்டிங் எப்படி இருக்கு, லிகாண்ட்ல இருந்து மெட்டலுக்கு போகுது, அவ்வளவுதான். ஏன் போகுது அப்படின்னா you got lot of space there, you got lot of molecular orbitals which are anti bonding in nature, but during the course of interaction of similar symmetry there is interaction. Similar symmetry இருக்கிறதுனால interaction இருக்குது, இல்லைன்னா interaction நடக்காது. The same explanation is given there here for the metal. Here you have metal and here you have the ligand, carbonyl ligand. You just substitute the nitrile ligand. Here you have pi 1 and here you have pi 2. So a lot of space is there. Here you have d orbital. D orbital and pi orbital symmetry is there. There is delocalization there. Okay, as a result of delocalization, there is a, you can see that metal nitrosyl ligands, are split into some different symmetry there, and there is more delocalization over this particular place. And here it is one symmetry. This is also pi bond. This is also pi bond with some symmetry. This is also pi orbital. Pi bond with a pi orbital. This is also pi orbital with other symmetry. So overall, this becomes like this briefly. When there is interaction with this, when there is a donation of this back bonding of nitrogen into the metal d orbitals. This is the synergism. Synergism is given here. Okay. So I think I understood clearly about the aspects of the back bonding. Again, I will summarize here. The metal approaches the nitrosyl ligand. Okay, metal gives electron to the nitrosyl orbital, and nitrosyl gives the electron bonding address to the metal. As a result, they form a complex, octahedral complex. When they form octahedral complex, the ligand pi star and metal D, they get same symmetry. They get same, become same symmetry. When they become same symmetry, what is happening? Always exchange of electron is possible. Same symmetry results in exchange of electrons. And what do we call that exchange? We call it as the delocalization. Okay. When delocalization is taking place, some electrons from ligand to metal takes place. This is known as synergism. This is known as synergism. So you got some electrons from pi star into the D, and the effective atomic nuclear charge of the metal also increases. So exchange of electron is possible, and you can see the change in the symmetry here, delocalization. So delocalization and the concept of donation of electrons almost go similar to similar. Okay. You please go through the lecture again. If you have any doubt, you please ask me. I'll explain to you later in the class. Thank you for joining.